Well, hello everyone. Good evening and welcome to this special show. There's no title. It's just I something came up and I wanted to rant to all of you about it. I am Kat, the night editor, and with me this evening is
You motherfuckers. I know what you motherfuckers are up to, and Cat's gonna expose your ass. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my Joe Pesci.
Oh.
Yeah, not so good.
Well, you short, angry little guy,
Yeah,
that fits.
I relate.
You
I
totally
do,
relate.
but I don't know. I think he's tougher than me.
Yeah. Well,
He could be in a wheelchair. He'd be tougher than me.
he has George Carlin pray to him.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll just say point blank: it is I, J.Ishiro, author and alien in a human suit. I really enjoyed yesterday's talk where we just sort of started talking about aliens for quite a while.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I can answer more questions on another show, but this one we're going to be talking about you.
Yes.
You and that identification in your wallet next to the condom.
Yes. Somebody in our chat, I'm not going to name who because I don't know if they want to be known, but they reached out to me asking what to do because a member of their family's information was breached and they were very concerned about identity theft. And then, as a plate of shrimp moment, it wound up in my news feed something about the United States cracking down on an identity theft case, and I thought, okay, you know, here's two items that are popping up in my life back to back. I need to, pay attention to that. And since this is a subject matter that I am an expert on, I have over 14 years of experience. I have been invited to seminars in Washington, D.C., with the alphabet soup of government agencies regarding it. A huge chunk of my life has been spent combating identity theft. I thought it's time once again for me to talk about this particular subject with all of you.
Yeah.
And please feel free to throw questions at me. That's part of what this is. So anyway, so why did this come up? So I was reached out to by somebody who said that a family member's information was involved in a data breach. That can be very scary. Especially because this is something you yourself have no control over. It's somebody else's fault that your shit's out there on the internet. So if this happens to you, if you realize that your stuff is out there, don't panic. Statistically speaking, 90% of breaches do not result in people becoming identity thieves. It's actually extremely rare to happen due to a breach. The only times usually that it happens is because the thieves are specifically targeting certain information, and the more people's information that gets breached, the less likely you will be affected, at least in the short term, which gives you plenty of time to batten down the hatches. So, so if you find out that your information has been involved in a breach, don't panic. The more people involved, the better your chances. You don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the dude behind you. So there we go. What are you watching?
Stuff.
Stuff.
I don't have anything to add here. I'm just hanging out.
Well, feel free to ask me questions if need be. Like if I'm saying something that doesn't make any sense because I know the subject matter too well, that can happen. So,
Well, see, but I already know what to do. Hey, Cat.
yeah.
This happened.
Okay.
See, so I'm not a normal person in that regard.
Oh, true.
I'm an alien.
Yeah, you are an alien.
I take my big titty wife takes care of it.
Well, and you didn't have to steal anybody's identity. You just had to mind wipe.
Right.
Yeah. So so first things first, Assess what information has been affected. Credit cards, easy. Cancel, get new ones. Your passwords, easy. Reset your passwords, make it something, totally new that you haven't used previously. Things like that. Get yourself virus scanners. We've heard all this stuff before. Now here's the more tricky stuff. Social security numbers. You would think your first call would be to the Social Security Administration. That is incorrect. The Social Security Administration, I'm going to be honest, doesn't give a fuck. They really don't. They issued you that number and they don't care until it comes time to start writing those checks when you're older. So until they have to start writing you, Social Security payments, they don't give fuck all about you. So they are not your friend. What you want to do is contact the 3 credit reporting agencies. Now, it has been a couple of years since I was last working actively in this field. I quit the group I was with in 2020. So I really wouldn't doubt it if there are new and better ways out there. I also wouldn't doubt it if nothing has changed, because nothing changed in the 14 years I was working in this field. So why would it change in the last 3? Contact the 3 credit reporting agencies. Place fraud alerts at the very least, if not freezing your credit reports. And if you want to know the difference between the two, I can definitely get into that. Yes, they will say we will contact the other 2 for you. That is absolutely true. Do it yourself. The reason why is they don't share information in that what one has on your report, the other 2 may not. And the contact information, as in where shit gets sent, like passwords or security codes, might not get to you. So don't trust it. Contact all 3 yourself to make sure that they have all of the correct information. Long leg Larry, if my identity is stolen, should I change my gender?
If you feel like it.
If you want to.
Yeah. Don't change your gender unless you feel like it.
Yes.
Just like, don't slip on any dicks unless you want to.
Yeah, unless you want to. Yes, exactly. That is one of my favorite things that Ralt says. Don't slip on any dicks unless you want to. Yes. So yeah, if that's really what you want to do, you go ahead and do that. He says validated.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, basically, the credit reporting agencies where you batten down the hatches and definitely watch your credit reports on a regular basis. Now, if your driver's license number it has been nabbed, that's not a very common one, but it can happen. Talk to your DMV. Each state is different. If you have the ability to change your driver's license number, do it. That way it doesn't match anymore. If you do not, talk to your DMV and see if there's a way to flag your license. And make sure you check your driving record at least once a year so that there's no, traffic violations or things showing up that aren't yours, because that will happen. Good for you, William.
Hey, Chicken Sith. This is totally off topic. But sorry.
Oh yeah.
Don't keep going now.
What?
See, this is why it's your show. I should shut the hell up.
What were you gonna tell Chicken Sith?
Oh, I'm giving a shout out to him in Siege Engine.
Okay.
Just yeah.
Okay.
Dark Rooster.
Eloise asked where to find the numbers for the 3 credit reporting agencies. Great question. Each of their websites will have contact information for you to call. Otherwise, you can go to ftc.gov. In fact, ftc.gov is your number 1 resource for all of this information. The Federal Trade Commission actually has made a huge effort, specifically in the last 10, 15 years, no, in the last 10 years, to really push their education, to push their resources, to cover different topics, and also to prosecute. So, for anything, your information gets breached, your wallet gets stolen, or just plain something's going strange and you don't know what it is, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC.gov, or identitytheft.gov is your biggest resource. I used to have the phone numbers for the 3 credit reporting agencies memorized. I don't anymore. But ftc.gov or identitytheft.gov. So yeah. I know in the past I've promoted the nonprofit that I used to work at, because there are good people there that would help you. If those of you who are curious, it's the Identity Theft Resource Center, idtheftcenter.org. I don't know if any of the good people that I used to work with are still there. If you were to call them, they seem to have gotten rid of their messenger, so you can't send them IMs anymore. Yes, I went to their website today to see if how they've updated or changed. If you do give them a call, ask for Wilma or Fabrizio. They were the best ones. I don't know if they're still there though. Spartan Cat, federal government doing something helpful. Now I know you're pulling my leg. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, you could have hit me with a feather when I found out. But no, the Federal Trade Commission actually, at least when it comes to identity theft, is doing something right. So yeah, it's amazing. Trying to think if there's anything else specific
Well,
that I should go over.
I think more of the audience should ask.
Yeah. So, is there anything at all that concerns anybody? Anything you'd like for me to talk about? Any situations you're worried about? Any cases? I mean, I can talk war stories. I can talk about some of the cases that I worked. If you all really want to like get depressed, I can do that. But yeah, this pretty much was me feeling like it was an important topic that I needed to bring up and answer any questions or dispel any myths, really. So let me know. Is there anything on your guys' minds? If not, we'll probably just bullshit for the rest of the hour. What about if you get scammed? Great question, Tweldy. It all depends again on what information was gotten. So let's do the basic stuff. You think you're talking to somebody that you trust, or you think that it's a legit thing, and they ask for your banking information. Cancel those credit cards. Close down that bank account. It's gonna suck. Believe me, it's gonna suck. But close down that bank account. You can keep your same bank. Just, I would say, work with your bank about putting passwords, security codes, security questions, and anything involving computers at all. Run a virus scan. If you're really concerned, take it to an expert and have an expert take a look at it, because malware is vicious nowadays, and it will worm its way in, and it will implant itself in strange places on your computer that won't pop back up again until years later. And I've had cases where that's happened. So anything involving computers, take it to an expert. So I hope that answered your question. Marty, how do you protect yourself from public Wi-Fi hackings? Is it by installing a VPN? VPNs are a great tool. Definitely, again, get a really good virus scanner. But quite frankly, I'm going to be honest. Rule number 1, don't use public Wi-Fi, really. if you really, really, really absolutely have to use public Wi-Fi, make sure you're running that VPN, make sure you're running that virus scanner, and don't go to websites that require that you log in, because anything that requires a login, you have to bet that somebody is going to try to nab it. I had a scare moment personally. This was about 5 years ago, where I was using a computer that didn't I didn't use for personal reasons very much. I used it, primarily for Word and checking my email. That was it. And I was at a Starbucks. I had VPN. I had virus scan. And all of a sudden, I got a pop up on the side of my computer saying, somebody is using the public Wi-Fi that you're using to try to get into your computer. Do you allow that? And oh, I shut down everything immediately and I got the hell out of there. I think I figured out the specific person it was who was doing it too, and I reported it to the manager of the Starbucks. And I didn't bring any of my devices in there ever again. So just be careful. If you don't use public Wi-Fi. I'm just gonna be honest. Okay, I need the mouse so I can scroll.
Okay.
So here we go. Okay. Aloise, what are the things to look out for when a lab has a data breach of social security numbers? Great question, Aloise. In this situation, find out specifically from the lab exactly what information that was breached. You already mentioned social security numbers may be breached. They probably have also had names and addresses of those involved, and you want to make sure medical records weren't involved in the breach either. So definitely get as much information as possible at what exactly was breached. Regarding the social security numbers, contact the 3 credit reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. I think one of them may have changed their name recently, but it's those 3 that you want to contact. Again, their contact information is at ftc.gov or identitytheft.gov. Now, in this particular case, because the full social security number was breached, unless you're planning on getting credit sometime soon, or you're in a position like for a job where you need routine checkups on your credit reports, freeze your credit reports. A freeze will block access to them so that companies you are not currently doing business with cannot see your credit report. That also blocks it from background checks or other things like that. So, and it lasts for your entire lifetime until you decide to lift it. So that will prevent a would-be thief from using your social security number to start a credit card, get a bank loan, get a mortgage. Yes, I've seen that. Or do other fun things. There's not much you can do if they have your name and your address, but you got to talk to them if they've got your medical records. It's not going to hurt you in the short term, or not necessarily in the long term, but I have had instances where people's medical records were duped so that they could go get surgeries, procedures, or other things like that. And then it wound up on the real medical record. So you need to know if that's out there so that you can be on the lookout for it. And unfortunately, something like that, you can't prevent somebody using your medical records. It's purely a case of you have to be aware that that information is out there so that you can be on the lookout for misinformation in the future. I wish there was a happier outlook on that particular point, but that's not a piece of information that most thieves want, but it is something that can happen. So
okay, there's a couple here.
Okay. Larry, if I ever get an Indian scammer on the phone, should I mess with them? You know what? Yeah, go ahead.
I got a story about that.
Yes.
Yeah, this was back when we were living at the condo,
Mm-hmm.
and we got an Indian scammer. It was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "You have got the viruses on your computer. There are files." And I'm, really? Oh my God, really? Yeah, do not worry, sir. I will help you through this. Thank you. And you're from Microsoft? Yes, we are Microsoft.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
And says, now you need to do this. And she's like guiding me through all these different, now you need to go online. I'm not doing any of it. I'm just making lots of click noises. I'm like, and and there's porn on my computer too. Yes, illegal porn has been put on your computer. And you need to erase it. Right? I'm like, okay. And I was like, oh shit, I found it. You see, oh, very good, sir. I found the illegal porn. Says, oh my God. And you know what? It's pictures of you. You're a whore. You dirty whore.
What did she do? I forgot.
She hung up on me.
Yeah, go ahead and mess with them. Okay, here's the thing.
Wasting their time is the best.
Yeah, it's. I will say it's a double-edged sword, so choose wisely. Basically, when you're getting those scam calls, you shouldn't even swipe to automatically send them to voicemail, because they know that there's been an interaction with your phone, and they know that that number belongs to a live person. So that's going to encourage them to continue to call you. So you should just let it go. Or if you have a program on your phone that blocks spammers, even better. So yeah. Or if you do take the call, yeah, go ahead and mess with them. Go ahead and waste their time. So it's really just it's they're messing with your time, so you get to use it how you want. Either you can pretend the number doesn't exist, and they'll eventually remove you from their list. Yes, somebody else will start calling you, but anyway. Or yeah, fuck with them all you want. See how long you can drag them out. I dragged it out 10 minutes once, so yeah, go ahead. They can't do anything to you. They're in another country.
So, okay, the next one is
Spartan Cat. Don't go to DEF CON without a Faraday bag.
you might want to explain that. That's actually good advice.
Yeah, that's very good advice. In fact, that's very good advice for going to any convention, going into any place with a large amount of people, or just honestly being out in public, especially if you don't plan on answering your phone.
My phone doesn't leave the house.
No, yeah, your phone doesn't leave the house.
I don't want to deal with people.
No.
If I'm leaving, there's a reason I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do leave, first off, my computer does have a Faraday. My laptop has a Faraday bag when I take it. Second, and even better, my credit cards have RFID protection slips, and the wallet itself has a Faraday cage in it.
Yeah.
And explain why that's important.
Okay. Well, first up, now I am going to defer to you to explain what a Faraday bag or Faraday cage is, because I can explain it, but I think you're going to explain it better than I can.
It's very, very simple. It's a net of iron.
Mm-hmm.
It's iron netting, essentially, or steel with a higher iron content.
Mm-hmm.
And it's woven in a net configuration, and it's usually lining inside of a sack or a wallet or something.
Mm-hmm.
And radio waves can't pass through it because it hits the iron and conducts.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, it prevents transmissions going to and from, your cell phone, your computer, that chip that's in all of our cards now. It prevents information from going back and forth. So yeah, good call, Spartan. A Faraday bag is a must, and as Ishi mentioned, if you can get little card slips for your credit cards to prevent the RFID chips from transmitting. That is another thing. I know especially during, the holiday season, there's all this worry of someone's going to steal your information from your the RFID chips on your cards, especially with the if you use the touch function a lot. That's the key there. Touch. The person has to get like right on your ass in order to steal the information that's on your card. So yes, if you're in a busy shopping center and somebody brushes past you, there's a chance that they could have a reader, and that they're running that reader as close to where your wallet is as possible, or if you have a purse, where your purse is as possible, hoping to skim some information. There is a chance, but you can't have somebody standing 5 feet away from you getting your credit card information. It doesn't work.
And if you're really concerned, anything that's a Faraday cage, like Faraday bag, wallet, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
it's EMP proof.
Yeah,
So if a nuclear bomb or an EMP bomb goes off, your things are safe.
exactly. And
Now the rest of you may be dead, but
but
your card will be fine.
But Angry Birds will be safe.
Yeah, you won't lose Angry Birds for the post-apocalypse.
Exactly. And I will say these things are relatively inexpensive to get on Amazon or other places. So go check it out. In fact, I purchased a roll of Faraday fabric so that I could make us custom wallets and slipcases and other things like that. And that wasn't too expensive. That was like $10 for about a yard. So that was pretty good.
The RFID blocking wallets is the same as a Faraday cage.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Different buzzwords.
I like this story.
Spartan Cat. I fucked with an Indian scammer once. I let them onto my home lab PC on free BSD. They were so lost. Then I infected them with ransomware. Nice. Turnabout's fair play, motherfuckers.
Put a Faraday cage in my hat. See if I can see them tune me into the 5G zombie with their gangster Frankenstein control. He even knows about the gangster Frankenstein control mechanisms.
Yes. Frankenstein radio, motherfuckers.
On the dark side of the moon.
Yes. Chicken Sith, like the old Oakley. Okay, Oakley sunglasses ads. Thermonuclear protection for your eyes. Great. I'll be a dust pile with 20/20 vision. Exactly. Just be your glasses.
Are you guys literally just learning about war bags and war bands? That was some early 90s stuff. Do you mean prepper like your go bag? Is that what you're talking about? Or like Tim Pool's van by the river?
Tim Pool.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. Before he got his chickens, it was always his fucking van. I'm making a van was always the go-to line. Now it's I got chickens.
Maybe he figured, kids are hip to the free candy, so that's why he's got chickens.
Yeah, the white van stopped working for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You took the candy, get in the fucking van.
Or maybe he thought it would be, he'd be cool to say, yeah, my van's filled with chicks.
Oh, God. That's awful. Good question.
Dominic, what inspired you to discuss this subject of identity theft? Again, a member of our community here reached out to me because they had a situation, and then like 5 hours later, my news feed started blowing up with shit about identity theft. And I'm like, okay, this is a plate of shrimp moment here. I gotta talk about identity theft. And as I mentioned before, I am an expert. I spent 14 years helping people rebuild their lives after becoming victims of identity theft, and also helping people prevent it from happening to themselves. And I have been to conferences in Washington, D.C. with, FBI, Border Patrol, other members of law enforcement, all there, to talk about policies and what laws need to be pushed and enforced um, to help combat identity theft. So, yeah, I actually spent a good chunk of my life on this particular subject, and I figured I haven't talked about it much. Might as well start doing it now. Anyway,
We got a comment.
Tim Pool Faraday beanie. Sorry.
He should market those.
He should market those. It's like the tinfoil hat. Tim Cook. No, war bags and war vans are bags and vans packed full of passive electronic listening equipment. So lift signals from the area around them. Shit was wild in the night. Oh, yeah. My dad created one. I got to name it. I named it Tonka. I was 4. Dominic, 14 years. That's quite the experience, Kat. Is this before or after you became an editor? During. This is very much so during. I got the job at the Identity Theft Resource Center in 2000
something.
3? No, 4. Yeah, 2004. And we did Utopiates in 2006, and then 01 Publishing officially launched in 2011. So, but I was still working at the center during that time frame, and I quit in 2020.
Now, would you recommend contacting the Identity Theft Resource Center if you had a breach, or if you are worried about your identity? Do you want me to answer that?
I can answer it. Okay, again, there were very, very good people who I worked with at the Identity Theft Resource Center. Wilma was one of them.
That's past tense. You were talking in past tense. There were good people.
I don't know if they're still there. I legitimately don't know if they're still there. I've lost track with all of them. Wilma and Fabrizio are the main two. And considering this was a organization where there were 4, not 14, not 40, 4. You can count on one hand people on the front line taking phone calls, helping victims when I left. And that was the largest frontline workforce that organization had. There's a reason why I left and why I hesitate to say certain things about them, because I don't have 100% glowing things to say about that organization. I do about certain people there. And if Wilma or Fabrizio are still there at the Identity Theft Resource Center, yes, by all means, give them a call, talk with them about what your situation is, talk to them about your concerns, and what's on your mind, because they are extremely helpful. Wilma especially. Wilma trained me. Wilma had check fraud. Her husband actually was in training for the Navy SEALs when a thief got a hold of an old checkbook of hers. I mean, this was like for an account that neither of them had anymore. The account had been shut down for years, but a thief had got a hold of an old checkbook of hers. This was in 2000, and started writing hundreds of thousands of dollars of fraudulent checks. And they didn't find out about it until there was an arrest warrant for her for check fraud. And he got pulled into his CO's office saying, "You are not going to be a Navy SEAL because your wife is a wanted felon." So that's how she got involved in it, and it took 2 years to unfuck her life. And she was great to work with. I mean, I'm sad that that happened to her, but she was great to work with as a result, because she made it her personal vendetta to make sure that that didn't happen to anybody ever again. She was the master at check fraud as a result. Yeah, if she's still there, she is wonderful to work with. Same with Fabrizio. Though he himself was not a victim, he definitely has the compassion and the willingness to do what it takes to help people. And he was one of the few people that I was very sad to leave behind when I left, not only that job, but the state. So I strongly recommend, if you do call them, ask for those two, Wilma and Fabrizio. I don't know who else might be there. So there's that. And if those of you want to know anything more from me on that, I will not say it on air. But this is why I also strongly push the Federal Trade Commission, because now, and why I still say the Identity Theft Resource Center is a good place to go, because unless something critical has changed in the 3 years, I wrote all of their material that they were handing out to people contacting them. That's not an exaggeration. I wrote and rewrote and wrote a third time every single piece of documentation that they would email out to people, asking them for information on every subject regarding identity theft. Anything that was being sent to government agencies, anything that was being sent to law enforcement, I'm the one who wrote all that stuff. So unless they've changed it, which they may have, because times change, they may not have, because it took them forever and a day to update some of that shit. Even and oh fuck it, I don't care. Some of the handouts I wrote, and then they waited 5 years before going, you know what, maybe we should update what we're handing out. And I'm like, yeah, I wrote that 5 years ago. They're like, well, it's been 5 years, you need to do it again. So then I rewrote fucking everything again, and I left with them not having updated a single goddamn thing. So yes, I'm bitter. Anyway.
What did I say? You motherfuckers.
Yeah, you motherfuckers. But because of, I'm gonna brag here, my contribution, me writing those documents, me updating things, the shit that they handed out to law enforcement, is because the Federal Trade Commission, it's one of the many reasons why the Federal Trade Commission started taking identity theft seriously. And they actually put the Identity Theft Resource Center on their websites as the number one go-to for information. The Federal Trade Commission never does that. They never promote nonprofit organizations. And they did because of, and I'm going to brag here, because of some of my contributions. So fuck yeah. And I will totally promote going to the Federal Trade Commission at the very least, because they seem to have taken that idea and ran with it. And I was on their website today, and I was so proud of them. They've been keeping on top of everything. It's like, I'm glad at least one government agency is on top of shit. But anyway, Raltz is rubbed off on me.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's fair. Why? Because I'm salty?
Well, you don't give. You're kind of letting loose. You're cutting loose on stuff that you used to only reserve for movies and comics.
Oh, the let the hate flow.
Yeah.
Well, it's been fucking 3 years, and for all I know, everybody I know that's been in that organization is gone. So, there's enough distance that if somebody was to say, yeah, it's not like that anymore, it's like, well, good. When I was there, it was bad. I mean, it was founded by It's founded by a guy who might as well be a sex offender, you know?
Is.
No, he's dead.
Oh. Oh, yeah, he died, didn't he?
Yeah, he died. Jay Foley died, and I can say his name, fine, because he was plastered all over the place. Jay Foley's dead. And he and his wife got booted out of the company because he was sexually harassing all of the women in the company, including myself. And they were both embezzling funds. Now, this all happened, over a decade ago. So that is long gone. Again, they got booted out of the company, and the company, Rex, who was the manager of the company, took the bull by the horns and invited lawyers and government officials to come in and clean house and make sure that we were operating above board once all of that came to light. So no, the shit that was happening there, that was almost 15 years ago. So, none of that corruption is with the company anymore. And that's why I can talk about it.
Yes.
Macro, my identity numbers got graped. I called and accidentally got the CSP. Now I'm in a jail cell in undisclosed location. Do you need me to smuggle you a nail file?
Yes, he is. Exactly.
He's like our dad or uncle that'll teach you some useful skills while talking about his comic collection. Yeah.
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 So, okay, well,
actually reminds me of my dad.
Yeah. So you ran it for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, is there anything else you feel like talking about?
Really it. If people have questions, I mean, I don't know. I just started seeing that identity theft was cropping back in the news again, and I know it's one of those things that there's a cycle where people drag it out, usually around Christmas, but people drag it out when they don't think that there's enough in the world for you to freak out about. And I told Ishi I needed to go online and rant, that I needed to talk to you all about this and dispel any misinformation or concerns, and help in any way I can. I mean, yeah, shit does happen. I've worked with those people where their lives have been ruined by it, but it doesn't happen to everybody. Most people, it doesn't happen at all. So,
well, what's your review of Fallout Bunker or
Fallout Shelter?
Fallout Shelter, yeah.
It's a great time sink. It has problems, but I've been playing it almost daily for over a month now.
Well, what the hell is it?
Huh?
I asked you, what the hell is it?
Oh, what is Fallout Shelter?
Yeah, other than something I'd like under the house.
Oh, you want a real one? I thought you meant the video game.
I meant the video game, but I'd like a real one.
Well, we're gonna have problems with that. This isn't California.
I know
the house is on a slab.
We'd have to blast.
Well, and then there's a septic tank there too.
Doesn't take up the whole yard.
No, but we got to dig around it.
Okay.
Seems to claim 90% boomer victims. Not true. Not true. Actually,
it's amazing the shit that people will give Twitch streamers.
Yeah.
And the information they'll give cam girls.
Twitch streamers, cam girls. I'm gonna say something, and you're going to go, and that is the dead. The dead are some of the biggest victims of identity theft. The reason why is because when you die, your social security number becomes public record. And the Social Security Administration publishes that list of newly dead people every month. So anybody has to do is wait for that feed to come in and grab numbers and just see, okay, what numbers have been protected and what numbers haven't. And when you're dead, nobody's expecting to get credit cards. Nobody's expecting to get announcements or other things like that. So the theft can go on for years upon years upon years until a collection agency notifies your next of kin.
That's absolutely true, Tim.
Mhm.
That is absolutely true.
Actually, yes, that is 100% true. Also, it's very, very much so true for not just adults, but for children who die.
Hey, there's a game I need.
Ace Combat? There's a new Ace Combat?
No, it's called Project Wingman.
Project Wingman?
Which was kind of like, well, we were sick of waiting for another Ace Combat game kind of thing.
What platform?
I think it's only PC, but I'm glad to hear it works. I was very excited for that. I have to play it now.
We'll have to get you a Thrustmaster.
Yeah, throttle and stick. So, yeah.
It's on Steam.
It's on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, I will need to get it.
Yes, Anime Ass Trip. Even when you're dead, the government can keep fucking you over. So you just make sure that your loved ones know to freeze your credit reports and basically let everybody under the sun know that you're gone. Because strangely enough, companies don't like to be defrauded.
You know what else about identity theft? It's amazing the information they'll give. What is it? Which one of the Logans is it? Or is it Logan, Jake Paul, or which one of the Paul brothers is it Logan Paul or Jake Paul that does the scams with crypto?
Oh, I think that's Paul, but I could be wrong.
It's one of the Paul brothers.
Well,
Jake Paul and Logan Paul, I believe.
I think it's Jake.
Jake?
I don't know. I can find out for you if you wanted to know.
Now, that's another way people get your information.
Mm-hmm.
Are these influencers doing online crypto scams?
Well, it depends on how exactly you're doing the brokerage. How he wasn't stealing people's identities. He was just stealing their money.
Their life savings.
Yeah. Janelle says Logan Paul.
Okay. Well, they're both fucktards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real shame that one didn't die in the suicide forest. That would have made up for all of it. Seriously.
But then we'd still have the other.
Get wrecked, Rousdower. You orange.
You orange now.
Yeah, maybe both brothers do it. They're both shit. So, yeah. Been watch any good movies lately?
We've got Megan coming.
You giving up on Dark Shadows for now?
I didn't give up on it.
I know you were kind of marathoning it there for a while.
Only watched it for 2 days.
Oh, well, there you go. See, I was paying attention.
Yeah, I only watched it for...
And then we started watching old Doctor Who episodes.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, HD has not been kind to some of those effects. Some of those sets.
No, it's not. I mean, I still love it, but
when you can tell that the rank markings on that guy's uniform is tape.
No, it still blew me away was you have these banks upon banks of like what's supposed to be bodies under, plastic domes. And as a kid, I thought for certain they had mannequins under there. And now with the magic of HD, they're not even mannequins, they're cardboard cutouts. Like, oh, this is sad.
Oh, the hostess support is kind of funky in Project Wingman. Well, let me put it this way. Please tell me that the planes don't fly like fucking trucks. They have pitch and yaw, right? You can bank turn. I mean, seriously, any flight game where you can't do a pitch and yaw turn, no, fuck it. I'm out.
No,
So many games have been rejected for that reason.
You're driving like a truck. It's not worth it.
Now, I think the game that pissed me off the most is I was playing it, and not only did it drive like a truck, but you could bounce off the ground and survive it.
Yeah.
It plays exactly like Ace Combat? Oh, okay, fine.
Sweet.
Excellent. I got a game controller. Perfect.
All right. You watching classic Doctor Who? Oh, classic! Tom Baker, man.
Yes. We've been watching all the Leela episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've decided I like her best now.
Leela's best girl.
Yeah. I mean, okay, as far as hotness is concerned, it's kind of a toss-up between the first Romana and, oh Christ, I don't even remember her name.
Which doctor?
Troughton.
Oh, Zoe?
No. I think she's the one from the Victorian age.
Vicky.
Is it just Vicky?
Yeah, Vicky.
Yeah,
Victoria.
Victoria's fucking hot. It's kind of a toss-up between those two.
Mm-hmm.
But I like personality-wise, just this character-wise, entire character, Leela. Absolutely Leela. You gotta love a woman who'll take a guy in the corner and knife him for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. JEC says Zoe was the hottest.
Nah.
But she's got badonkadonk.
She does have very nice curves.
I don't know. Victoria is very cute, but she's cute.
I don't know. I thought in her youth she was really fucking attractive.
Oh, she is. To me, she's cute. She's not.
I mean, yeah, she doesn't have the regal class that the first Romana did.
It's she has and I think it's just the makeup. Now that I'm seeing pictures of her not as Victoria, they did her makeup so that she looked younger, so that she looked like 15. So she has these big cheeks, which she looks childlike.
Hmm. She got a nice rack though.
She does have a nice rack.
Yeah, we were actually watching the behind the scenes material for the Doctor Who era with Leela.
Mm-hmm.
And Louise Jameson, the actress who played her, when they had her teamed up in an interview with the other two.
With Joe Grant and I don't remember the other woman. She was also a Pertwee. God, I don't know. The other two were just like
chicken heads.
Yeah, they were chicken heads and giggling.
And you could just see Louise Jameson just suffering through the interviewing. These two are morons. Please shut up. Please, for the love of God, shut up. Was the look on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good picture.
Oh, Leela?
Yeah, we'll use this one.
That was a fan favorite episode too.
The Robots of Death.
Great episode.
Great title. I mean, for a while I was attaching that to everything when people talk to me.
What, of death?
Of death, yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you were doing that at Starbucks.
Yes, exactly. Whenever we go inside.
Yeah.
When we knew everyone there.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you were working there.
Especially when I was working
I would have an ice. I want an iced coffee of death.
Yeah.
There's Leela. So anyway,
Janelle says the first Romana was beautiful. Not
gorgeous
down with
is
the
incredible.
Second one. The second one was jailbait.
And a pushover. I didn't really like her character.
Janelle, Lala Ward, the second Romana, was Tom Baker's wife.
That's how she got the fucking job.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she was perfect as Princess Astra. Playing a 16-year-old, but playing an adult woman, no. Bar giggly girls can be fun on movie extras though. For contrast, listen to the Resident Evil DVD bonus track. Milla Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez sound like they're at a slumber party. That works.
I think the part of the interview for Doctor Who, the one girl who had the gigantic mouth said,
Mm-hmm.
I got into this job because of my mouth. It's gotten me so many jobs. It's like, oh my God.
That was Joe Grant.
Is it the,
Like, did
did you intend that to sound the way it did?
did you know that? Nah.
So Kevin Sorbo's In Space was okay, I guess. I didn't really watch it much.
He had oh shoot, what was her name?
I mean, really,
Tracy.
it was a very loose adaptation of the reason it was called Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. So he actually had nothing to do with it. It was taking his old scripts and adapting them from what was it, Planet Earth,
Yeah.
and it was just retelling it. But instead of him being this man from the past awakened to try and re-civilize post-nuke Earth, it's a post-war galaxy instead.
I was glad to see the woman who played Tracy on Forever Night get another role, but she just doesn't play tough girl very well. I think she was also in Jason X.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't play tough girl very well.
Okay, let's see.
Tim wants to know what Joe Grant's mouth did.
I kind of don't.
It involved a Dalek.
You know, look, all I'm going to say is, what was it? The nostalgia geek girl? What was it? The female nostalgia chick.
Yeah.
That chick, Lindsay, what's her face?
Yeah, Lindsay Ellis.
Lindsay Ellis. Joe Grant could put more hot dogs in her mouth than her. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
At once, yes.
She seemed to have been surgically enhanced to be able to do it too.
Yeah, sure. Her mouth kind of opened and closed like a Muppet.
Yeah. You know, like a frog.
Okay,
Like
we got a
Pac-Man.
question here.
Dominic, from a creative standpoint, what are your thoughts on the Time Lords and regeneration? Before Doctor Who was bastardized by BBC and
Chin balls.
Chin balls, yes. Well, I know. Well, do you want to go or should I?
I think originally they did fine with it. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, it wasn't intended originally.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I think at some point, no, not some point. I don't even have to say that. The moment producer John Nathan Turner took over, it started getting stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from that, the way that the way they handled the Time Lords is kind of this stuffy aristocratic order that's become so ultra civilized and regal that they're kind of degenerating and stagnating in their bubble city.
Yeah.
I thought it worked, and that the Doctor was a rebel.
Well, I also liked that it was everywhere implied but never really declared that yes, the Doctor's regenerations were erratic and he didn't get to choose what was going on. But you run into other Time Lords and you actually do see other Time Lords regenerate, and it's made very clear that Time Lord technology did let them have a little more control over what happened. It's just since he's not in Gallifrey, he never got the choice.
I think the one real huge fuck up that should have never been allowed. Now that's some fan art I can get behind.
I agree.
The one that really fucked it all up, and it was retarded, was when they had the second Romana. And they had her choosing her forms.
Yeah.
And it was a cheap gag, sadly, so sadly, written by Douglas Adams.
Yeah, that's the only reason why his name is on the credits for that episode, is because he wrote that
He
segment.
wrote that scene because they needed a quick explanation for why Romana looked different.
No. They needed a quick explanation for why Romana looked like Princess Astra from the previous story.
Yeah. And choosing her was retarded.
Yeah.
And that entire scene really really was unfortunately painful.
Yes, it was.
And not a high point in Adam's career, but at that point he didn't give a fuck.
No, he didn't give a fuck.
But the Pirate Planet was enjoyable.
The Pirate Planet was one of my favorites. Again, I just picturing,
destroy everything.
Yes, destroy everything. Moons of madness.
And
I want that on a shirt.
Once you know that episode's written by Douglas Adams, it all makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Right down to the fact that that's the only time Romana 1 is an annoying bookish know-it-all.
Yeah.
You know, she's basically Hermione. I'm not kidding.
The first Romana?
Yeah, in that episode. Because she's constantly babbling to anybody who will listen about any science fact that she has. Did you know that that flying cars were first originated on this particular planet for this particular purpose? I had a flying car when I was 16. I built it myself. I got the parts from no. It's like,
shut the fuck up.
She's fucking Hermione before there was Hermione.
Okay, but do we have any other questions you guys want to ask us about old Doctor Who? You'll get a lot of answers.
Well, we got lots of knowledge.
Seriously, it's better than asking Kat about Gundam.
By the way, the other night when I was looking for the images of was it Earth versus
Soup?
I was looking for those green aliens for you, and I found, I think it was Earth versus the Saucers and what those looked like, and I went, oh shit, it's Sontarans. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
I was like, oh my
god. Actually, Earth versus the Flying Saucers is a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
It was created by, in part by, oh god, can't remember his name right now. I'm not in UFO mode, but it was the Marine. I think he was a sergeant in the Marine Corps,
mm-hmm.
who wrote the book UFOs Are Real.
Oh, yeah?
And he consulted for that movie.
Oh.
It's also kind of interesting that the alien in that movie somewhat sounds like the incident in Russia that mm-hmm. Happened in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly.
In Siberia?
Oh, no. It was supposedly aliens had landed in the soccer field in the small town, and two of them came out, and they were wearing silver outfits, and then a big robot-looking thing came out with a huge medallion on its chest, and it zapped one of them.
Oh. I don't think I had heard that one. Interesting.
Worst protagonist fight, Bellry or Kira? Trick question. It's
I don't know.
I don't know what that's a reference to.
Wolf, I am mainly only versed in Gundam Wing, sadly. I know a bit about the arena fighting one, but that's only because the Gundams in that are batshit crazy, and I thought that was hysterical.
But yeah, it's Gundam Wing, the boy band one.
Yeah. Wild Wing Boys.
God.
Yes, I fucking had the albums. I had the J-pop albums.
Do you want to explain this? They may not know.
Oh, in Japan, it was not uncommon. Well, okay. If things like mangas, or not mangas, manga, anime, whatever, they're all commodities, and it's all to sell product. And if you are a voice actor, you are part of perpetuating selling that product. So oftentimes voice actors would also have or TV shows would also have albums that people would buy, not like soundtracks like what we do now, but where the different characters would sing songs as those characters. The voice actors would sing as those characters. And I had both albums from Japan. Yes, it was bootlegged. I'm sorry. I was in high school. I had no money. So, but I had them. I still have them somewhere.
Okay, here we go. Mary Tam, the first Romana.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Is there any other questions, or should we? I've watched at least some of all of them except Seeds of Destiny because no.
Mm. Iron Cast Knight, you look at Wing and tell me that isn't a J-pop boy band. Oh, can I look for a picture?
What?
The J-pop image of Gundam Wing. There's one. There's one specific image.
Yeah.
If you find nothing, you must find the one of Duo. No, this is just the bots.
Just tell the story about the voodoo doll.
Oh, you want me to tell that one? Okay.
Yeah.
You're just getting the bots, and as much as I love the bots, that's not what I'm looking for. Sexy Duo. Type in Sexy Duo.
Okay. You still haven't told the story of the voodoo doll.
That image. There's a lineup of all of them, but it's that one. And yes, the high school of me was totally into that image because Duo was my boy. Okay, Gundam Wing voodoo doll. Myself and my best friend at the time in high school, her name was Rose. We were both stupid into Gundam Wing. We would go to the comic book store every weekend with what little pocket money that we had and try to buy the model kits so that we could then, when we'd spend the night at each other's houses, we could build said model kits and go fan out on Gundam Wing. I have drawings of me. We had a comic book that we were passing back and forth of us doing our own, fan adventures of the Gundam Wing boys and the Gundams. The Gundams talked, because of course they do. I'm in high school. What do you want? Anyway, we're going for a weekly trip to the mall. And we run into 3 other girls who were going to the comic book store the same reason that we were, to go fan out over Gundam Wing. It's like, oh, this is great, let's all hang out. So we were all hanging out together at the mall, talking about Gundam Wing and turning into screaming girls. And my friend and I look down and see that one of them has a doll in her purse that was a handmade doll of Relina Peacecraft, one of the characters. And we're like, oh, that's a great doll. Did you make it? And the person pulls it out and says, it's like, oh yeah, it originally meant for it to be Duo, but it wasn't turning out right, so I turned it into Relina instead. And then we're looking at it and we're like, does it have pins in it? And she goes, oh yeah, it's my Relina voodoo doll because I really hate that bitch, and so I'm gonna, and so I stick as many pins in her as possible every time an episode plays and she's in it. I'm like, you do know that this show has been off the air for like 5 years, right? We're just now getting it here in the United States. Why are you having a voodoo doll? And this character is like, well, because I hate her so much and I still just hope that she'll die.
Girls are fucked up.
My friend and I got really quiet and we both gave each other a look, and we both did the, oh, look at the time, I have to go. And we left, leaving the other 3 behind. And as we're walking away, we both said in unison, that ruined Gundam Wing for me. And we're both like, we can't enjoy this anymore. That fandom is too scary. We we can't do this anymore. And that was the last time I bought a model kit. Unfortunately, I plan on I've gotten over it. I have my eyes set on another Death Scythe Hell, but yeah, that was really scary, and it kind of ruined Gundam Wing for me.
Now I'm gonna just ask you something.
Okay.
I'm gonna just make an observation.
Did you show them the sexy duo?
Yes.
Okay.
No matter how bad that Gundam Wing fandom was that you saw that warded you off,
Yeah.
it doesn't even come close to Rick and Morty dorks.
No, it does not. It does not.
No one has destroyed fast food restaurants across the country for Gundam.
Oh, wanting the Szechuan sauce?
Yeah.
A sauce that has not been on the market for had not been on the market for like 5 years at that point.
And don't get me started on Inuyasha fangirls.
Oh dear God, I couldn't get into Inuyasha. That was too girly for me. I just
He's got a point.
Hilarious that girls got into a mech anime and no Western comic book maker has figured out that formula since. Yeah, I went to Comic-Con that year and I did get one of the like only 500 pressed Gundam Wing comic books with the foil cover. I had one of those. It's gone now, unfortunately, along with many of my other bad comic book entries. But
was that during the move, or was that when the garage flooded?
That was in the mood. That was in the move. I lost it in the move.
Hey, I think you guys can agree on something.
Gundam design peaked at Death Scythe and Tallgeese. I agree with Death Scythe. Tallgeese is okay. Epion. Sorry, I'm all about the Epion if you're going to go in that direction. But with Death Scythe, which Death Scythe? I am all in the camp of Death Scythe Hell. Not Death Scythe Hell Custom because that thing is too flamboyant. But what? It serves no purpose.
No. That's kind of a weird comment to make about Gundams not being flamboyant at this point. I mean, they started as a vaguely practical design, and now they've got capes and chariots. And
dude has rims and shoes.
So, anyway, picture this in the living room among all of Kat's goth shit, all the dead stuff, the skulls and the Vampire Hunter D and the black lace. What is it?
I've got Vinny.
What?
I've got Vinny in there.
But among her haunted house that she made, all that stuff, right? Among it, there's a bell jar with a Death Scythe Hell.
Mm-hmm. No, Death Scythe.
Death Scythe inside.
I don't have a Death Scythe Hell yet. That's what I'm wanting to buy. Is I'm wanting to get one of the model kits for Death Scythe Hell because my little 1/144th scale Death Scythe Hell, as much as I love him, he's too small. I need a 1/100 scale.
And if he has time, I think we should bring Bar One on one of the movie nights with John.
Sure.
Because if I'm remembering correctly, I could be wrong. I think Bar One is another person who knows a lot of obscure film and horror films, especially.
Oh, yeah.
Connoisseur of such things. I know JC is, but
totally. And Neostar, I still have my SD Death Scythe.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he's just sitting on your workshop table still.
He's too cute for the living room.
I think we should put him up on the shelf of robots and kaiju.
Oh, okay, we can do that. I also have a SD Wing Zero Custom.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do really like a lot of the Zaku designs.
Yeah, the Zaku designs are cool. Much better than the Leos. Bar One. Oh, heck yeah. Definitely bring me on the closer we get to Halloween.
Well, John's got opinions on movies, and it's always good if we get people just who have a lot of knowledge. You can just start going on tangents.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be also interesting, since you've got a lot of horror movie knowledge. I've been really trying to get Raltz to do reviews of horror films, because
Yeah,
Raltz has opinions.
Raltz has opinions. No, I haven't talked to Raltz about this, but you got to tell me, is Kane Hodder best boy?
He's asking me best grunt mobile Gundam suit. I don't know their names enough to say.
Virgos. How about that?
I mean, as far as designs go, what was it that Lady Un was flying?
Oh, that was a Taurus.
I liked that. I thought that was a cool design.
Yeah, the Taurus.
I know they were cannon fodder, but I liked the design.
Well, no, they weren't cannon fodder. That's the thing. Is the Tauruses are they're jet planes. They're fast. They're agile. They're quick. They're maneuverable. They just don't have shit for armor.
I mean, what was the one that had a rocket in its crotch? That one was kind of retarded.
Oh, that's the Leo.
Oh, that's not correct.
And it also had rockets in its butt. And
Well,
there's I still love the image of, like, you've got the camera down on, like, ground level, and it's looking at the Leo from behind, and the Leo full on squats, and then flames shoot out of its ass and it flies off. Tall geese.
I don't know. I think he's got a point about the tall geese. This is a nice looking design.
That one's the black one. That one never showed up on the show.
That is one hell of a design. I like that.
No, tall geese is a good model, but he was saying it was like the epitome of, and it's like, no, I don't agree with that. Epion. Tall geese is good. Don't get me wrong, but Epion.
Of course, maybe I just like the Taurus because it turned into a plane.
Well, so did Wing.
That thing was goofy. Had fucking feathers on it.
No, that's Wing Zero Custom.
I didn't watch the show.
No, if you looked at Wing is very much so built in the style of Macross.
Well, then I'd just take a Valkyrie. I mean, I'm trying to find a good picture of the Taurus, but I'm not finding any.
It wasn't on the show very much. I mean, the special Tauruses, though, the white ones were, but yeah.
Okay, so we've heard your fandom horror story.
Yeah, it's my fandom horror story, at least as far as Gundam goes.
Huh.
Hmm?
I don't know. I'm kind of in an up mood.
There you go.
My
there you
God.
Go. There you go.
Oh my fucking God. This is some fanfic right there.
Oh, them Duke boys.
Just the good old boys. Never meaning no harm.
Wow. Oh my God.
So who drives the General Lee then?
Oh, Hiro does. I mean, come on.
And which one's Daisy Duke?
Actually, I'm shocked Catra is not on Daisy Duke's right there.
Okay, guys, I shit you not. I thought of a challenge for me. I don't know if I'll do it or not. She's still laughing.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
No. I'm gonna be giggling about this for the next couple of days.
Imagine these two guys sliding across the hood and getting into the car and driving back to talk to Uncle Jesse.
I'm just picturing Catra drunk. For those of you who may not know, the brunette is Hiro and the blonde is Catra. Catra is a rent boy. Putting it mildly. No, I mean, like seriously, he is the mascot / rent boy / moto person for a battalion of Arabs.
What was the name of the guy who led the enemy?
Zex?
Yeah, they always foiling Boss Zek's plan.
Or Mirviardo. Same person. Yeah, Humble Marty, I'm with you. Hiro smiling?
Gaze of Hazard.
Gaze of
Okay,
Hazard.
it's
Okay.
this is kind of a weird coincidence. Okay, I don't know if I'll do this yet, but I've been toying with an idea, and I don't like that I don't write very fast. I've been really trying to do pulp speed, and so I thought, well, okay, what if I gave myself a very straight ahead goal where I know exactly the plot, and it's very simple. I don't, just see if I can do it. Something that I already know all the story beats. I already kind of vague sense of what the dialogue would be and what the action would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, what if I nabbed this old script of a Dukes of Hazzard episode and rewrote it as a space opera, where they're smugglers
I think you could do it.
in a really really shady part of the galaxy where everyone goes if they don't want to be found. And
I think you could do it.
wait till you see a Turn Gundam.
Turn A Gundam.
Turn A Gundam. Can you believe that in the 70s a hit show was about moonshiners?
Well, considering how much fandom was around truckers.
Yeah. Do a siege engine book based off of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Wow.
That actually probably could work considering what a shit show it is.
Yeah.
See, but I mean, it would immediately detract or derail from it. It wouldn't stay on track, which probably isn't a bad thing.
No.
Why not issue pretty much all of Firefly? Okay. Wow, I fucked that. I read about a dude eating at a McDonald's when they did a collab with Gundam, and he really saw a hot chick explaining the life of Char Aznable to her very bored boyfriend, and what a world we live in.
Char was.
I know who Char is.
Yeah.
I know that much. Actually, I know some really weird stuff about the original Gundam. Quite a bit, in fact. I looked into I've never actually watched the series through.
Yeah, the original.
But I researched the shit out of it because of the influence from Pineline, and it just, I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't remember why I researched the shit out of it.
Well, I know that it was, for me, it was one of those things where it was just like a snowball effect of like, wow, that's neat, that's neat, that's neat. I didn't know any of this. But by that point, I was way out of Gundam fandom, and quite frankly, again, I was kind of gun shy about it, so I never got into it. I'd love to see the original.
Now I'm looking at this Tall Geese, and I think he's got a point. I mean, it looks good in black.
Oh, it does look good in black. It looks very good in black.
My only thing I didn't like about the Tall Geese was the white paint job.
Mm-hmm. No, the black Tall Geese is very cool.
In black, the Trojan helmet works. I think in white it looks goofy. Mm-hmm. Okay, Char Ansnibble, the Salmon Comet. Mm. Oh, didn't they call him the Scarlet Comet in the American version or something like that? Because salmon just doesn't really sound too cool.
No. Well, yeah.
Get the characters running mech weapons for a story. So instead of making it like Star Wars, just stick it in the mech in the Siege Engine universe. Should I have the balladeer kind of, now watch what happens here?
No, I was picturing what would Dukes be like in the Siege Engine universe? Like, what would that TV show be like?
Well, first of all, I would not use Bo and Luke. Okay, them reveling in being rednecks was great and all, but I don't think that's too easy. I think what I would do, I think I would make one kind of your run of the mill rogue bastard, Han Solo, but not as nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'd make the other a latter day dandy who everyone thinks is gay, who talks like that dude from. I asked you about him today, Zarbon.
Oh,
How about a latter day dandy that talked like Zarbon?
From DBZ.
Yeah, from DBZ. Abridged.
Yeah.
So he'd be like this,
Well,
and oh my.
Well, real Zarbon kind of talked like that
Did he?
too. Yeah.
And make him like a Star Wars or a futuristic version of the dandies of the past.
So it would be Han Solo and Huggy Bear.
Well, Huggy Bear didn't come off like that.
But he's a dandy.
Yeah, well, he's a pimp, but
he's a dandy. 70s pimps are
a
dandies.
sci-fi Scarlet Pimpernel. First off, there's moonshiners, smugglers. What needs to be smuggled? Everything.
Mm-hmm.
In the Siege Engine universe, the U.S. is so screwed up. Everything, and the country's divided. You guys have not even gotten a glimpse of the other chapters and how much I've gotten planned out. Half of the United States is the UAS, the United American States, and then the rest of the United States kind of went socialist, but they fragmented to shit. So law and order is really broken down, and they can only enforce insofar as they can afford to enforce the law. So really, you've got large portions of the West just completely lawless, with like the cities having totalitarian rule, and then everything outside it's just a shit show. So you got that, and then there's also the fact that the UAS had a war with the Canadian Chinese, or the Chinooks.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's also the Sino-Canadian Empire that they've got to deal with. And then all the planets are kind of competing, where the UAS has territory on planets and asteroids. The Sino-Canadians have planets claimed and asteroids claimed. You've got corporations that have got parts claimed, and then you've got nut jobs like the Futurians, who've started up their own little towns out in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, it's really just a shit show, and the world's gone nuts is the idea. The idea is it's nuts. And yeah, there was the war with the Chinooks, where the Chinooks basically tried to take over the United States, and the war really hurt them, and their soldiers were doped up on steroid amphetamine maple syrup. Actually, there's a character who shows up who was smuggling that stuff in a later chapter. That's the or I do my own version of Destro, except he's a reformed Christian.
Oh yeah.
He's gone clean after a life of drug running and arms dealing and debauchery.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been on for almost an hour and a half. Should we call it a night?
Sure.
I think the guys behind Cullum tried something like that. Trunio needs to go. Cullum.
I don't know.
I don't catch the reference either.
Wolf said he finally figured out Warframe. Wolf, don't feel bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would work. Instead of running moonshine, they're running weapons. Maybe they're vets from the losing side of the Civil War on Venus. That might be interesting, except both sides are commie on that. Well, what it is that one part of Venus is the Civil War. There are other portions that are owned by corporations. But yeah, the whole mining colony that was taken over by the Futurians is in the war, having a civil war with Zapatistas because it's commies hating commies, which always happens. So instead of running drug running, they should be called syrup slip. All right, let's call it a night. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. How about tapping?
Tapping.